Pure white background in a small home studio. That's what we're going to be covering in this video. I'm going to show you how I do it, and I'm also going to share with you a couple of little tricks I use to achieve that look. To the channel, folks, it's great to have you guys here once again. I'm Barry Mountford. This channel is photography related, so if you like that kind of thing, why not consider subscribing. In this video we're going to be covering the high key background, pure white background, which is needed a lot of the time for product photography or portraits uploaded to websites. It's requested quite a lot from clients, and this specific client that I had in the studio the other day wanted exactly that, pure white background, nice and clean, ready to upload to the website. Now, lighting a white background isn't that difficult, but what is difficult is that when you light a big space like this, all that light just bounces back, it bounces everywhere, and being in a small studio, it is not the best way to actually do it. Ideally, I would have hired a studio and had as much space as possible to separate the subject from the background, put up a couple of flags and stop any kind of spill coming around the subjects. But it was last minute and I've got a home studio, so I might as well make the most of it. So I thought it'd actually be a good video to share with you guys, to show you how I achieved that. Now, one of the main aspects of the high key look is lighting the background. Now, ideally, you want the whole background lit perfectly, evenly all the way around, so it's 255 all the way around across the board. If I show you a picture here that we've took of Ross, who was in the studio the other day, shooting some images to promote for his new brand of goalkeeping gloves. You can see, if I move the cursor around Ross, you can see it is pure white around him, but if I move the cursor away from Ross, you can see that light starts to fall away and it's not exactly pure white. So how do we combat that? Well, firstly, my thought in a small space like this is I don't worry about lighting up this whole area. I don't concern myself about that whole area. The only area I concern myself about is the one that's just going to come just outside of the subject. So if that's the case, I just need to be lighting up basically just that strip of this white background. And what that allows me to do is obviously, one, just use a couple of lights, two, not have to blast the whole background with light and not have that light bouncing back all over the studio. Now, obviously, with it being a small studio, having white walls, both sides, front and back, white curtains, objects that it's going to bounce off, you're still going to get a little bit of fill. But what I am trying to eliminate is the bleed coming around the edge of the subject. It's not really a great look. I don't eliminate it 100% in this situation. Ideally, I would need flags up, but it's just too small. I've set it all up before and it's not a great experience for the client. You can achieve it, but it's just not a great experience. So this is what I've come up with. So once we've lit the background, and I'm just lighting that with a PiXAPRO 300 and a PiXAPRO 100 from the ceiling, and that's just lighting that section. So I always start with the background lights first. I'll set them, I'll get my subject in place, I'll take a photograph. Because I'm tethered, I'm looking for the subject to be silhouetted, basically. Now, again, you won't be perfectly silhouetted in here because there is a lot of bounce light come back. So as long as it's silhouetted enough and it's not bleeding around, and I can see that it's pure white running down the side of them, that's exactly what I'm looking for. That's all I'm trying to achieve. So if you can imagine, if you had to go to a client's premises and you need to achieve this look, this will actually help you out. So my main light is the City 600, and I've just got that at a 45 degree in an easy open octabox. Nothing super special, but we did want a little bit of shadow on the side. We didn't want it totally clean, we just want a little bit of definition for images further down the line, the way we're going to use them. So that's what we went for. So that is the main key light on the subject. Now, add a bit of fill to lift those shadows because we're just using one light. I tend to use a bare bulb and bounce it off the back wall, but in this occasion I've actually got a white blind which pulls down, that'll go all the way to the floor if needed, and I tend to bounce the light off that just to lift the overall shadows on the image. And again, by doing this and doing that, we're controlling the light on the subject and the background is lit separately. Well, obviously when you look at the image, you'll be saying to yourself, well, that's not pure white all over the background. Well, actually it's not, and I'm not actually worried about that because I've made sure that I've got a pure white kind of border going around my subject, and that's actually all I need. Because from this point, what I'll do is I'll take it into Photoshop, I'll use the lasso tool, and I'll literally cut out exactly where it's pure white. So I'll select that area, and then I'll create a mask. And below that mask, I'll create a new layer and just fill that with white, and then instantly, there you have a pure white background on your subject. A couple of seconds. It's a super easy fix, something that you haven't got to worry about. I know it's not perfect, but it is a workaround, especially if you're trying to achieve that high key look. Now, obviously, in this type of studio, setting up products and such like, it's a lot easier. Smaller objects, you can get that pure white straight in the camera. It's not an issue. But obviously, when you're talking about obviously big goalkeepers and big people in a small space, it becomes a lot more difficult. So I thought it'd be a good idea to share this one with you guys, because I think there'll be a couple of little nuggets of information there that you'll be able to take away and use in your photography. And like I say, if you have to go to a client's premises and find yourself in a small shooting space like this, you know it's achievable. And that really is the key, is just making sure you light enough of that background to surround your subject so that's pure white, and then you're not going to get all of that fill coming around your subject. So there you go, that is it for this video, folks. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you're getting something out of it. If you have, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to the channel and flick that notification bell so you can see when the next video is posted. And I'll see you guys in the next one. See you then.